morning. Good morning, everyone, and welcome. Sometimes I wish that intro was longer. I'm sitting there just watching it. I wish we had more clips in there to see like all the people that we've had and all whatever. But good morning, everyone, and welcome to Viva Cafe con Leche, the last show of the year.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. And Milagros is in the house. First one on most of the time lately. She switched it out with for a long time was Tiffany. Tiffany had that slot. There's Tiffany Bride in the house. Good morning. So good morning, everyone, and welcome to Viva Cafe con Leche. I am the badass Buddha, Lori Monaco, coming to you from a balmy but pretty Southern Connecticut, where there's no snow, but there's some frost and the sun is out, although some clouds. I don't know what the high temperature is supposed to be today, but I believe this weekend is supposed to be in like the 50s, which is really right. And yet poor upstate New York has had 5 feet of snow.
Yes, Buffalo, right?
Yeah, that storm just went like west to east, north of where we are. So it's like it's just the swash of it just went right across and completely missed us. So although I love snow, I definitely don't like 5 feet. 5 feet is like crazy. Anyway, good morning.
Good morning, buenos días, milagritos, cielito, Tiffany. You know, we all know we love the name Tiffany. It is my daughter's name. So yeah, the 4 seasons are something that when we're living in it, we take it for granted. And then we move somewhere like, let me see, Florida. And you get either a couple days of cold and then the rest you're in hell's waiting room. So why, as this is the last show of the year, let's reflect on one thing. Why are we never satisfied? Right? We'll talk about that. You just said that about as much as you love snow, you don't want to be in 5 feet of it. And then when it gets cold here in Florida, I'm like, ooh, I'm thinking about going back home to Connecticut. And it's like, then, like now, today's supposed to be high 80s. I'm like, it's not supposed to be this hot in December. So, as humans, when would we just pick a place and acclimate to it, adapt to it, and whatever is the right word? I haven't had my coffee. But we're all like that. Do you think we say stuff like that just to say stuff like that, or do we really mean it?
I think it's both, and that's a great question. I think it's both. I know for me that I know my truth, because that's going to be part of the conversation today. I do like snow. Don't get me wrong. Like I really do. I think it's beautiful. I love those moments when you're stuck in the house and it's snowing pretty bad outside. And I thank God that I'm home and I'm working from home and I don't have to worry about commuting and things like that. And I love that. I think for me, it's the inconvenience that it can be. And I think, and with that, you're right, because you live where you live. So you have to deal with the fact that it can be an inconvenience. So you have to shovel your driveway. You have to clean off your car. You have to dress appropriately for those days, and I think if we accept that piece of it, say, well, you know what, that shit, you can't change that. Mother Nature is going to do what Mother Nature wants to do. If Mother Nature wants you to have a not so snowy winter, because we've had those, there's been winters where we didn't have any snow, then that's the way it's going to be. And then if it's going to be blasting, then it's going to be blasting. I think just going with the flow. I mean, we could state our opinions. Like for me, I just state my opinion, but I don't walk out and say, I hate this. I don't make myself miserable if it's snowing really bad. I just go with the flow. It's just I dress accordingly. I drive accordingly.
Yeah, I've heard that from you. I believe you. I believe that.
Thanks.
No, it's because I've done it. And then when I went to Connecticut in the winter, I was like, how did I survive 39 years of this? But then when I'm here, I miss it with a passion. Like I miss it. I love rainy days, like love rainy days. when I tell you I love rain, I love rainy days. I don't own an umbrella because I love to dance in between the raindrops when I'm going out of the house to the car or wherever. Um, and I love it whether I'm out, whether I'm inside looking at it through the window, whether I'm on my back porch listening to it on my tin roof. Um, but the snow, I love it passionately when it falls at 5 o'clock in the morning and everything is quiet. And it's like that's that moment where that phrase, you can hear a pin drop. I
Mm,
believe that's when you can hear the actual, like, it's like I can almost hear every snowflake fall in those moments. And it's beautiful with your cup of cafe and you're just looking at it. And then as the day progresses and it gets black, and then, so we all have our pros and cons of weather and being in it. I just think I'm I'm very blessed that I was able to live in a four season state, was born and raised in it, and could have experienced what many never have. Many never have. They've lived either in hot places or extremely cold places, right? So I guess at the end of the day, the intentions are what? Badass Buddha.
whatever you make them.
To
That
be
that's
grateful
yeah.
for everything you
Oh,
experience.
yes, and be grateful. Absolutely. Well, and you brought up something really nice. There is that peacefulness. See, you and I are so aligned with that both of us with that idea of peacefulness for whatever the weather is, because there's peacefulness in hearing the rain come down. There's peacefulness in hearing the thunder in the background. There's peacefulness in the wind. They could also be very dangerous, they could also be very problematic, but there's peacefulness in the snow. And I especially love when snow falls at night. My favorite is when it starts falling in the afternoon, and like late afternoon. I feel bad for the people commuting, but when it falls late afternoon, and then around 10 o'clock, I go out to shovel the driveway. Right, even if it's still snowing, like if it's going to keep snowing longer, I'll still go out to shovel the driveway because nobody else is out, and
Yes.
it's so quiet, and there I am shoveling. And even if I'm using the snow blower, I'll use the snow blower, but there's this peacefulness of just looking around and seeing no one outside. Maybe one neighbor sometimes does the same thing I'm doing, but nobody's out on the road. All you see is the snow. And then when I do turn the snow blower off and I just start shoveling and I take a stop here and there, it's that quietness that I hear the crunching of the snow underneath my boots. So it is. It's funny because people will always say to me, "What the hell are you going out this time to go shovel?" I'm like, "Because I want to, because I want to." It's so nice.
You know, because that's when you know yourself. That's when you know that you have to embrace the moment when it comes. And that probably most likely set the tone for the rest of your day. Yeah, your body was tired, maybe a little sore from the shoveling. Even the blowing takes a lot of.
It does, yeah.
But you started your day on your terms. So anything that came your way that was negative just rolled the hell right off of you. And that's what we got to remember. It's always those little things like how do you make your day great? Make your bed. Make your bed. Leave the house with your bed made. That's an accomplishment you did within rushing, within getting up. You fighting with the blinkers. The blinkers like, no, Margie, we want to protect you. Stay a little longer. We need you. And then your mind saying, I gotta get up. And then your body's like, listen to the blankets. So you're already going through that war, right? So you get up and you make your bed and you start everything off right. And guess what? No matter if there's traffic or anything, you had control of the first part of your day. You chose to go out and blow and shovel snow. You chose to do whatever it is you had to do before you left. Just own it. You have to own your day no matter what weather. Because I think so privileged to live in 4 seasons. I think it is the most privileged thing to do. Like, Edie isn't on yet, but we were talking yesterday. She was talking about Puerto Rico. I said I would love to retire in Puerto Rico, but then I think, do I want to live on an island? There's no escape plan. You know,
Yes, I agree with you. Yeah.
so
Isn't that funny how you think about stuff like that? I'm thinking the same thing in the different states that I want to move to. I'm like, what is, if there's an escape necessary, and which states might you need to escape from sooner than other states? It's so funny you said.
like at least in a state you can like walk through the woods or the back parts of the city and away from the highway, and you can still cross borders. You're still crossing into another state, another state. In Puerto Rico, you're like, is there a boat available? So you have to pick exactly where you want to be. When we're born and raised, we don't have a choice, but then we choose where we want to be, even if it's seasonal. And you come back home, and then you're like, I really enjoyed that. I took a leap of faith, and blah, 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 blah. But after a while, I'm sweating every day. My face is melting, my hair's frizzing. It only looked nice when I was sitting somewhere. So you go with the flow. It's like you said something about um, the winds and everything, and I wrote a piece, and I think I shared it with you. It says, the winds raised me, the trees educated me, the rains cleansed me, the sun inspired kindness and gratitude, and the moon held me tight through the hardest nights of my life. And if you look at Mother Nature in that sense, like it all serves a purpose, regardless if we understand it or not. But isn't it beautiful when we grasp something and we own it, and we adjust it to our settings? Because that's what it's about. Do you not agree? All
Yes.
the life that surrounds you is not difficult. It's not easy. Just adjust it to your settings. And if your settings don't have the connection, then go to another location.
That's the beauty of it. That's still perfect that you said that, because that is actually what we're going to be talking about today. Today is a celebration of life. It is the last conversation for the month of December, when we've been celebrating self, and we're getting ready to start a new year, and a celebration of life. We mean your life, and you celebrate your life. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about, I celebrate me, Gladiator Guru celebrates her, Tiffany celebrates herself, Milagro celebrates herself. We don't need outside people to celebrate us. It is that we have to take that time and celebrate ourselves. So celebrate your life, honor yourself. So celebrating your life is honoring to you by living your truth. And so what Gladiator Guru was just saying was that you take that, what's out there, and you apply it to yourself, because you are unique. Everything in life is the same. I mean, when you walk outside, it's the same. You're the outside, what you're looking at is the same, but yet people see it differently. We hear things differently. We feel things differently, because we are each unique, and it's our own perception. But it takes a greater ability to step outside, figuratively, literally and figuratively, to step outside and observe it and take it in, and then make it to yourself, and then be true to yourself, in that sense of own who you are, good or bad. Own who you are, and be honest about that, and I think that was the biggest take for me the end of this year, is to really accept who I am at this moment in time, who other people are, and
Mm-hmm.
then decide for me how I want to live my life. And then also, I choosing to not be around people that are not going to be that honest. Like one thing I've noticed over the last 4 weeks, I've been around a lot of people who what they said didn't align with their actions. What they didn't really align with who they really were. And that's their journey. It's not for me to judge. It's not for me to say, oh, that person, blah, blah, blah. For me, it was to take that step back and see it and then say, you know what, that's not for me. And then the only thing that I can do, because I to do the other realization too, is to do what I do best, which is I teach. I'm a teacher, and I'm proud about that. If anything, I think if I was to say, if anything of whatever I am, coach, chiropractor, teacher is the number one. Like, it's just so natural for me to be a teacher. So the only thing I can offer then is to teach my knowledge, my insight, what I've gained, and then let people decide for themselves what to do. So if somebody is not being true to who they are, like if I'm seeing that they're saying one thing and their actions are different, and especially if they're lying about it to other people, the only thing I could do is make them aware of it and say, this is what I've observed. You take that with what you want, but this is my truth. And if that doesn't work for me, then I'm okay with that. Like, I'm okay with not being around you. I'm okay with, yeah, it was interesting. I'm rambling, but in the end, that's what it comes down to, is it's living. I mean, look, how was your year this year? Really? Like, did you really live the year you wanted to live? I mean, if you were on your way, yay, fabulous. Like, it's awesome. If you didn't hit the mark, it's okay. But if you were already moving in that direction, that's fantastic. That just shows you that you could do it. But now we want you to look bolder, and we want you to look like take bigger steps and say, God, if I could do that, then I could do this. Or maybe you realized, I really didn't do what I wanted to do, or I don't feel that great. We are in charge of us. Life is way too freaking short. And we have got to finally just say, screw it. Like, I'm just going to be me. And I have nothing to prove to anybody. And if I don't want to be around you or the situation, then I don't have to be. And focus on what you must do for yourself to put you into the direction that you want to go. Sorry,
I love that. I love that. Yes, I'm Tiffany, my pillow and blanket debate. You know, my bed calls to me every night, but I'm a night owl. Then when I get in it, it's like an orgasm, just getting into the bed. And then I jump up in the morning, and let me tell you, with this being the last show of the season, everything you said it was beautiful, badass. Lately I've been jumping up, like, oh, like I'm gonna miss out on something. And so I've been a little more of a grand participant in my life.
Yay.
I don't know if it's the end of the year. I don't know if there's things that I have going on. I don't know if everything that's going on, I feel there's a difference in the air. But being the last show of the year, and all of us looking forward to the beginning of a new year and what it's going to bring, and I think we just have to be sure of who we are and have built enough self-trust within ourselves to make the right decisions to go a certain way. And I'm saying this, and my mind is just all over the place. But we didn't even say our morning mantra.
I know, but maybe.
Good morning, beautiful tribe. Good morning,
maybe it's not meant to be. Maybe the morning.
I know.
And you did. You said the gratitude. We didn't do the mantra, but you said the gratitude piece. So maybe that's where we just need to go, because. So let's just, I mean, if you want to do, we could do the
No. I just want to make sure that, but what you said was, and that's how we got to look at it. You know, we can't, piddle paddle through life anymore. There's big changes happening worldwide. Many of them are not going to be to our benefit. So who is going to be on your side? That reflection in the mirror, the person you're looking at every morning when you're getting ready, and every night when you're brushing your teeth to get to bed. So the thing is, so you have to cultivate that self trust. We talked about cultivation of self throughout the year. September was the most pivotal time of the year to really, really prepare you for the end of this week, for the end. Endings are sad yet necessary. Yet for every beginning, there's an end for new beginnings. And if we keep that in our thoughts and our process, then we're going to realize that things do change, just like, the winter must forget to be winter and allow spring to pop up like slut magic, right? And then spring slowly changes. It's a little less painful, but it slowly changes into summer. And then the summer has a blast and has us all having a blast. But then it too knows that it must bid farewell for the fall to come in. So nature does what it has to do. And we fight against the grind, knowing that we're going to lose, but yet we get upset. So we add on and
We
add on.
we
So
act surprised.
yeah,
We
like,
act
oh my God, I can't
like
believe that happened. Like, hello.
that's always boggled my mind, is that we do that we act surprised when something happens, and then those of you standing on the outside of the situation look around and go, why are you surprised? Like, you know, anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, but because it's true. So, you got to look at life. The balance of life is death. And as much as it pains us, as much as it gets us out of our groove and puts us in a timeout, you know, it's still something that we will all face. It is a sorrow we will all endure. And although we know that it is the balance of life, it takes us what? Like, oh my God. And then you're thrown into a whirlwind of emotions, and you can't even trust that you know what you're feeling. That's why the cultivation of self-trust, self-belief, and self-love are just, and the belief in something bigger than you. That's what really keeps us centered. So I think that when all of the changes occur, we must remember that for every beginning, because everything, I don't know if you know this secret, but nothing lasts forever.
Yes,
No.
that's true. Right.
We all have an end date,
Yeah.
just like the deli meat you buy, the bread, it all has an expiration date. We just don't know ours. So
You
that's why you must celebrate the life that you have, and keep focus on you, because only you can bring the joy into your soul that you need. Not
Yeah.
your partner, not your kids,
Yeah.
not your co-workers,
That's correct.
nothing. Only yourself. And if you focus that you are the most important person in your life at all times, even in your darkest moments, guess what? You can celebrate your life at the end of every day. Here we are celebrating our last show of the year, heading into the fourth season of Viva Cafe con Leche. And you know what? We show up tired, bruised, emotionally torn apart because of life events that are happening to each one of us, and we show up. And sometimes we want to sleep in. I ain't gonna lie, we want to sleep in. Sometimes our heart is just too heavy, but we get up and we come on this Viva show every Tuesday and Thursday because we made a commitment to ourselves, we made a commitment to one another, and then we've committed to the tribe. So we must hold ourselves accountable. And if you're going to hold yourself accountable to anything going into this new year, hold yourself accountable to make it right with yourself, to stand in your truth, to set your boundaries, to make love a four-letter word that is so, so endearing and powerful that you can go into any battlefield naked and know that you are fully armed. And only you can do that. Don't expect anybody to do that for you. Go into the new year saying, if I commit to something, I must hold myself accountable. If I feel that I'm failing, I'm going to reach out to somebody who's going to tell me the truth. Who's going to say, you said you were going to do this, let's figure it out, but you got to do it. Find that mean friend, because they're going to be mean in those moments where you want to give up. But
Yeah.
find it and stick with it. Because, as I just said, endings are sad yet necessary. Every beginning has an end for new beginnings. So don't be afraid of an ending of something. Open your arms to receive the new beginnings coming. And what I'm saying is what we've been told all our lives. When one door closes, another opens, or the window opens.
But sometimes you have to close the damn door to get the other door to open. I mean, trust me, like that's sometimes where we fail a lot. I know I've struggled with this myself. There's still
What part?
certain pieces is when one door closes, another door or window opens. Yes. But sometimes we refuse to close one door because we're hoping the other door is going to open before we close the other door. And
Yeah.
sometimes that doesn't happen. You know how like in the schools, that safety feature that when you go into to a school now, you open the door and you cannot open the other door on the other side until the other one shuts and locks. So that's a safety feature that they've put in the last couple of years,
Mm-hmm.
right? You have to think of it that way too. And it doesn't always happen that way. Sometimes doors and windows do open before you close something, and it's a
Yes.
beautiful opportunity. And sometimes we fail to recognize that because we're still in the other side, and we're like, oh, but that one's, well, it'll stay open a little bit longer. But sometimes the ultimate leap is when we have to shut the door and stay in that in-between space for a moment and be like, shit, I just locked myself out and nothing's open right now. And I don't know what I'm doing here. And I don't know. And you have to trust that process because it may come very rapidly, may not come, but as long as you're holding that space for yourself. And
Well,
yeah, go ahead.
you're right. Thank you for bringing that up. Good morning, Tata. You are absolutely right. Learn, pray while you're waiting. When you're so anxious to go to the doctors, but you still have to sit down and wait until they call you in. So when you're in that hallway, if you're a believer, pray to Yahweh. Be grateful. Spew out your gratitude. Voice them out. Pace. Do whatever it takes, but be prepared. And by preparing yourself is closing that door. Don't tell me, oh, nothing good happens to me. Everything good happens to us. It's we fail to recognize it. We fail to latch onto the patience that's needed. Everything's not going to just pop up on your lap. You got to work for the majority of the things that happen to you. You could say, oh, I'm fully blessed. Yeah, we are all blessed when we wake up every morning. That's the gratitude we give. It's your biggest gift of the day is that you get to open your eyes. Yeah, we complain. But thank you for saying that, because when one door opens, you might have to crawl your ass by the crack in the window. So you better wear some fitted clothes so when you go through it, you might get scratched up. But you know what? Everything's not going to be easy.
No.
Nothing good.
But the irony is that the more we do it, the easier it does tend to get. And we always think that everything is we catastrophize. We think that everything is going to be such a challenge, and then and like you had said, oh, everything always goes bad. When you had said that, like everything always, you know what? You're right. Because that's the irony of it, is that no matter what you say, you are right. And we love being right. So if we say, oh, my life sucks, and it does, then you're able to say, oh yeah, see that? I was right. My life sucks. Well, good for you. I'm so happy that you were right about yourself. So it's just like that quote from Henry Ford, whether you say you can or you can't, you're right. I can't do that. You're right. I can do that. You're right. Because it's at some point we have to say, I cannot buy into this bullshit anymore. So I try something and I fuck up. So what? Then I'll do something different, or I'll keep trying until I get it right, because this really is important to me. But this is interesting, Gladiator Guru. This morning, I could not sleep again. So I went to bed. I was falling asleep at like 7:00 last night, and I should have just went to bed. And I pushed myself to stay up at 11, and then I couldn't fall asleep right away. But then I woke up at like 4:30 in the morning, and then by 5:00 I was up. I'm like, all right, I guess I'll watch. Maybe I'll watch a movie or something like that. And I had never seen the movie Love Actually. And my sister
Oh
and I,
my God, it's my all-time
I love
favorite.
it. I've never seen, yes, it is now one of my favorites.
I've watched it like 20 times.
And so my sister, we were talking about it. She's like, "Oh, you got to see that movie." So I did, and I love watching those movies by myself. I don't want people around. I just want to watch it, right? And you're right. I agree with you. I felt this huge amount of emotion at the end of that movie, and of course, because it's such an emotional movie on so many levels. And then it stopped, and then the program that happened to be on, and it was so funny. You know that the religious lady that looks like the Joker? I don't know her name, but she's got that mouth that she has a little Southern accent. She's like real, like
Tammy
evangelical.
Faye?
No, she's current. She's like a current person.
Oh
Tammy
no.
Faye died a long time. No, but anyway, she has a mouth like she's had so much plastic surgery. She literally looks like the Joker. Most people know who I'm talking about if you can think of the lady's name. Anyway, she's talking right now. I'm just looking at her mouth, like I'm just going, "Oh, the Joker's on," and and I don't really watch these shows at all. Like I just really have no, whatever. I like no judgment. It's just not for me. But she starts talking about a topic, and I was like, "Oh, this is quite interesting." And that's basically what she was talking about. She was saying about we don't know how long we are here for. How many times this year did you complain about something? Did you not do something? Did you like she just kept going through the list of how many times did you not forget, let something bother you that you didn't need to let bother? How many times did you make things more than they needed to be? How many times? And she kept going on, and I'm like, oh, this is so funny because it's such good info for the end of the year, And so I watched her for like 10 minutes, and I thought that was really nice. Like that was a beautiful way to start my day, like that movie. And then that burst of wisdom. But that's what it is. It's like when we're talking about celebrating ourselves, you've got to sit with yourself and say, what did I waste my time with? We're not here that long. What did I waste my time with this year? What is it that I really, really want to say? What is it that I want to say to somebody? Like maybe you can't. Maybe you're like, oh God, if I say that, that's going to cause holy hell. Okay, maybe not say it, but at least express it. Write it down. This is what I have to say to this person. This is what I have to say about this situation in my life. Not your opinion on somebody else, meaning like their life and their situation, meaning something that affects you, like specifically you. Like if it's a relationship you have with somebody, or if it's a connection to a situation that is in your life, what do you really want to say about this? And then if you feel brave enough at some point, then maybe do express it to the person or end that situation. If that situation, you say, I'm not happy with this situation. I don't like this job anymore. I cannot stand my boss. I don't like my job. Then maybe for the new year, take the step to close that door and say, you know what? I don't want that job anymore. I can't deal with that toxic person anymore. I'm going to close that door, and I'm going to allow myself to be there and wait for that door to open for the next, or that window. And like Gladiator Guru was saying, when you're sitting in that waiting room, because that's a waiting room sometimes, you can pray. And you can say that and have a conversation. Say, yep, God, I'm just kind of chilling here. I'm sitting here. Whenever you're ready. Whenever you're ready, open, I'm going.
Absolutely. I think that in order for you to celebrate your best life is by acknowledging that you exist and acknowledging that, we have to show up for ourselves. We're not perfect. We're never going to be. That there's always room for growth. I think when we decide to live our best life, it's to be fully present in our lives. Show up with those tattered clothes. Show up with that matted hair, looking like a mangy dog if you have to, if you were self-isolating, going through healing, if you were depressed, if you were hurt, if you were wounded. Show up as you are, especially to yourself. Don't hide the truth of what you've been through, what you're going through, or who you are in that moment. That's how you celebrate and honor the life that you've lived thus far, and how you want to navigate it going forward. Because we get angry when people lie to us. Like some people like take it to extremes when people lie to them. And I always believe that it was a reflection because they are the biggest liar to themselves. So how dare you lie to me? That's my job.
They want to own it. They want to keep
You
it for
know?
themselves.
So
That's
yeah.
a good point.
So no te engañe. Don't lie to yourself. Don't pretend something is happening when it is not. We create this delusion in our mind with our overexerted imagination of what can go wrong. What are they doing? What are they hiding from us? And you're just giving out all of this energy that you should have conserved for your growth. Because been there, done that. Trying to control, severely toxically opinionated. So we have to figure out, am I my best friend? Am I the love of my life? Am I sitting in gratitude, being inspirational towards the me that's going to enter this new year? To celebrate and honor myself and to live in my truth, I have to first acknowledge that I do exist and that I am an important part of this universe. Doesn't matter what I've been through, nor where I'm at this moment. But being the event planner of my tomorrow, I'm going to make strides and be 100% present in my efforts to be better than I was this past year. And this, if anything, when you leave this year behind, take everything you've learned and put it in your back pocket and stroll into 2023 fully armed with your own experience. Not what you heard on TikTok, not what you read, on Instagram and Facebook. Be the you. You have enough stories to uplift you. You have those stories that, when you're at a concert on stage and the guys just throw themselves into the audience, really hoping that they're going to catch them. That audience that catches them and trails them off and then puts them back safely on stage. You have all those people you see out there. Those are all your experiences in this past year. Those are all the learned skills. Those are all the ones that slapped you across the face and stood uninvited and you had no choice but to accept it because you had to go through it. That's how your sold out concert was. Everything you experienced this year. Every person who bought a ticket to that concert is every moment that you lived in 2022. So look at it. It's a sold out arena. You have enough to propel you forward into the life you want. You have enough to say, I didn't get to where I wanted to be. I barely made it halfway through a goal. But damn, that was fun. Or damn, that was hard, but now I'm a bit stronger. Times will be rough, but you got to believe that you were built tough. And that's from Cher, a song from Cher, because that's my bitch. So you have to believe that everything you went through this year was just to propel you and prepare you for the one coming. And all I'm going to say from my point of view, my own personal thing, is be aware of everything happening, not only around you in this space, but worldwide. Be aware and prepare and just know that, we all need a tribe, that like-minded tribes. And when the times get rough, you're gonna know what to do. So that's why you need to start. What's that called when you go to the gym and you? What is it? Workout, but it's something when you're building up that muscle. It's a word. Do that to your mind. Stop being sensitive. Stop getting defensive. If you found yourself doing that, if you've been accused of it and got super, super angry because somebody said, damn, you're very defensive lately. Why are you so sensitive? And then you got pissed at them and you don't want to talk to them because in actuality they were telling you the truth, but you weren't ready to hear it. Open up. Figure out what's making you defensive. What's making you so damn sensitive.
Yeah.
And then work on it and build those muscles. Build a muscle. Your brain is a muscle. Your face is muscles. And we're like, oh, I'm getting wrinkles. My cheeks are dropping. Exercise it. Exercise it. Do little things for you that's going to build you up. You build up your body. You build up your spirit. You're building up your mind. You're being indestructible.
Yeah, it's called emotional IQ, like, or EQ. It's you have to build up yourself mentally and emotionally. When Gladiator Guru says if somebody says something to you and it triggers you and it gets you upset and it gets you pissed off or you're sensitive to it, they still could be an asshole. Don't get me wrong. I mean, these people are just could be assholes, but you have to check in with yourself too and say, why did it bother me? Because people will always be assholes. And when it doesn't bother you anymore, when you've done the work on yourself and that person still says something trying to be insulting, trying to purposely trigger you, once you work on yourself, it doesn't bother you anymore. That's the beauty of it, because if it does, that means there's still that piece of it that they're correct on, and that it's triggering you. Otherwise, you'll be able to look at that person and say, wow, okay, I see where you're coming from. Thank you. Bye-bye. And that goes along with the idea of you really thinking about reflecting. Listen, you got 3 days left, right? 3 days left of the year, not even 2 days. Reflect on what worked for you and what didn't. Who do you want around? And I'm going to give you an example because it's our show and we could say whatever we want. I'm going to keep people nameless, but I was blown away with the amount of support that I got with my dad being sick and with his passing. Blown away. I am so grateful and blessed for the friends that I have. When you say that family's family, you can't pick family, but friends can be family, right? And we know this to be true. I am just blown away with what people have done. Like they've said, they've reached out. I mean, people surprised the hell out of me. People that I didn't even think that I was particularly close to, like I was friends with, but they sent me direct text messages, which we don't often do that. And it was just overwhelming to the point. Like it took me almost 2 weeks to get back to people on Facebook because it was so overwhelming. So in my moments when I feel sad and sorry for myself, I have to step back and really just shake myself and smack myself a little bit in the face and say, seriously, look at this. Anybody else in my life that is toxic, that has an agenda or whatever, they don't matter, because these other people see me for who I am. So with that, right, I get a text message from somebody I'm not going to say who it is, right? And this one says, I want to send my condolences to you and your family. I didn't know your dad passed away. He was a great man. Please give my condolences to your mom. Wonderful. Thank you. Right. The next morning, a text comes from the same person that says, I'm very hurt we weren't invited to the funeral because we loved him very much. First off, I never knew you needed an invite to a funeral and a wake. Did you know that, Gladiator Girl? I didn't know that, right? And I sat there and I sat back for a minute and I'm like, wow. My dad dies and you're hurt that I didn't invite you to a thing that you didn't need an invite for, right? So I sat there and just said, oh, and I so don't need people like that in my life. Well, sorry you feel that way, and it just really sealed it for me. Like that text came in like a couple days ago, and it really sealed the end of my this month for me of learning about who matters in my life and who doesn't. And there's a handful, thank goodness, just a small handful of people who don't, because I would I would never say something like that to somebody because that's not who I am. That person, that's who they are. And that's fine. I'm not telling them to change. They can change on their own and I'm not responsible for them. But that's the beauty is, see, if it triggered me to get me pissed off and send me on a barrage of text messages back and forth, I'm not going to say it didn't upset me at first, like piss me off, but it was more like, wow, like it was that kind of pissed off. But there was a time though that would have triggered me horribly and it would have really sent me into a barrage. And then I thought to myself, why bother? This person will never, ever understand their own stupidity.
They won't. And I think, and I'm sorry, but you had to go through that. But there are going to be people, because there are all kinds of people. I don't know if anybody remembers the movie, and if you do, say yes in the comment or no. The Sixth Sense
Yep.
with
Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis. And all through the movie, we didn't know until the very end that he was dead. But when the little boy says, "I see dead people," and he like didn't get it. But let me tell you something. That movie always comes to mind when I see stupid people, and they don't know they're stupid. And I say this with love. And I don't only say it to the idiots. I say it to the wounded that believe that everybody's at fault for what they're feeling. I was having a conversation the other day with another life coach, and we were talking about self-healing, self-acknowledgement, self-trust, self-love. And she says that she handles people with an empathetic view. And we all know that I'm very blunt. And I said some people accordingly need, one of each. And I said, but we're talking about triggers. And she's like, but triggers are real, just like PTSD. I said, everything is real until it's not. Because when you walk in your truth, and see, people want to say they walk in their truth and not do the work.
Yes.
And then just admit and walk in certain parts of the truth that doesn't take a lot of effort. It's just like people who want to be heathens until it's time to do heathen things and then they run away. Uncourageous people. So when you have these people who want to heal, and to heal, you got to get raw with all of the uglies that we possess, because all of us possess it, with acknowledging everything that we have done to make us victims because we like the attention. So we see that victimization and neediness gets us the attention and the empathy of certain people, or we just are too lazy to get up, brush the shit off, and start walking in our truth. So I'm like, triggers occur to people. We all have a past. We all have scars. We all have pains. We have all been through something that for each and every one of us have been earth-shattering. Doesn't mean you carry that out. It doesn't mean I have to walk on eggshells not to trigger you for something you don't care to eradicate out of your life, to understand, to embrace, to acknowledge, and to sit it in the fucking corner of your life. So people like to say, that triggered me. Well, then go sit over there, because I don't know what triggers you. I don't know what's going on. And I'm not going to stop being me and walking in my truth because you're going to get offended. So everybody in the last 7 years, maybe, correct me if I'm wrong, everything has become so damn sensitive, worse from 2020 onward. And everybody's like, oh, that's offensive. You offended me. You hurt my feelings. I don't like when people say that. Why? It is your issue. Figure it out, or you're going to be wounded the rest of your life. And I can say that. And I say it. And I've been wounded. And I still bleed from some of my wounds that happened years ago. But what do? I get the gauze, I get the alcohol, I get the peroxide, I clean myself up, I patch myself up, and I keep it moving because those are my wounds. Those are my healing moments that I have to do for myself. So if you will be triggered of what everything is going to say, please stay home because the world will trigger you. The world is going to be your battlefield, and everything being done and said is going to offend you until you put your big girl panties on and work with them. One, even if you deal with everything you deal with one at a time, and let people know I really don't like to be around this crowd because it triggers me and I'm working on it. So I really can't heal while being in the mess. Guess what? You're a fucking warrior.
Yes, absolutely.
But if
Absolutely.
you're gonna sit there and say, I don't really like when people say that because it triggers me to back to something where I used to be and I don't want to be there no more. Well, obviously you're still there if you're being triggered. They use these words and
Amen, milagros.
they use these words and then they make it like a point, a fact. Well, I feel this way because back 25 years ago, that's your issue, not mine. If you want to talk about it, we'll talk about it, but you will not stop or interrupt or dismiss what anyone else is doing because it might offend you. Because we're all grown adults. And inviting your power back is inviting your peace back. And if you are uncomfortable in a scenario, you have every right to get up and walk away.
Yes.
But
yes.
do not sit there and expect people to lower the music because it's bothering your ears. And that song brought you back to something. Don't expect people to sit at another table because their cologne is signaling a trigger of a past memory. All that you are saying to me is, I'm a victim and I have not done anything to heal from what was done to me or
That's right.
what I placed myself into yesterday. I don't care if it's as fresh as yesterday, as old as 25 years ago.
Yep.
You know why? Because it is not my responsibility to carry your burdens. It is not my responsibility that you have not chosen yourself as important enough to do the work, to walk into life in light and in grace.
And can I go even beyond that?
Yes.
If that person is sitting next to you with that cologne that's triggering you, when you really know you've done the work is when you can get up and say, I can you switch my table because I really don't like this. I'm going to walk out and not be upset about it.
What are you upset about?
Because you could still get up and walk out, but be royally pissed off and let everybody in the whole world know that you're angry and then sit with that anger. You still need to do the work. Anger is a beautiful emotion. But when it sits and lingers and kind of hangs out and becomes your partner in crime and just hangs out with you all day long, it is the opposite of helpful. Anger comes in when you need to make an absolute in that moment take care of a situation. There's nothing wrong with having anger up there. But when anger just sits and lingers and when you let it whisper in your ear all damn day about a situation, like you said, that happened years ago, that means that you have allowed all that to become controlling in your life. And then you have to ask yourself, why did I allow that? Because you use it as an excuse. This happened to me and I'm angry because this happened and I have the right to be angry. You are using that as an excuse. And let me tell you, transformation is lifelong. As much as work you've done to yourself, then something will come along and test you. Like God will definitely send something down and test you. Or it's the devil. Who the heck knows? But something comes along to see, well, let me see how far you got. Let me see how good you are at this. And then when that shit comes right back up, you have to be able to acknowledge it and be aware of it and say, oh, okay, I got to do something about this because I don't want to be that person. That's a lot. That's what came up for me a lot the past 3 to 4 weeks. Lots and lots of anger. And in the end, the anger was due to my choices over the last 7 years, really. But even my whole life, there were still pieces that I have not stepped up into, that I have not taken care of. And that's what hit me wholeheartedly. And the beauty of it was, because we always see it in other people. People piss us off, and we have a lot to say about other people. Well, they're like this or they'll do that. But is that the reflection that we just don't want to see within ourselves? Like, we're looking at that, the fault in that person, going, I don't like that person does this. I don't like. And then we look back and say, okay, but am I doing the same thing? And that's what I'm seeing. Or is it also maybe a chance for me to say, this is truly what I don't want my life to be? I don't want to be that person. I don't want to have that situation anymore. What am I going to do about that? What do I need to do that's different? That if I'm still seeing this, what do I need to do this year that's different?
Yeah. I think you need to buckle up, Buttercup. I think walking in your truth is a very, very strong and huge little phrase, statement, sentence for many people. I think that the world is going to become a more difficult place. Prices are already extra high and paychecks are not going up as quickly as everything else is. I think you got to tighten up, lift yourself by your bootstraps. I think there's no more, let me take my time, or only befriending people who empathize with you and encourage you to stay where you're at. You know what? Challenge yourself to be better, to be stronger. I think you got to realize that if you don't, you're going to be mad at a lot of people, because a lot
That's
of
it.
people are waking up to who they are, and they're not
Yes.
going to tolerate people being so damn sensitive and getting upset over anything you say and accusing. I don't want to be accused of triggering you, because I didn't trigger you, because you're not looking deep enough in the mirror. So take that shit and walk that way. And as I was talking to my friend about that, she says, I am very abrupt. Well, you know what? No. I'm just going to walk in my truth. And if you cross paths with me, I always believe is divine intervention. You had to meet me to hear what I have to say, or I had to meet you to bring me down a couple notches. Either way, it's a win-win for me. But I'm not going to tolerate every day or continue having a friendship where you're going to drain the shit out of me because you don't want to do the work. So you want to blame everybody for your misery. You know what? There has to be a cap on that. Even if for your family, there has to be a cap on it, because then why are you alive? Why do you exist if you're not going to walk your purpose? Because you're too busy either being the victim or being the good Samaritan that doesn't continue on with their lives because they're too busy trying to save people who don't want to be saved. Excuse me. So walk in your truth. Acknowledge that you need to change something, because we all have to acknowledge it. If you haven't gotten it, these conversations always bring me back to the Wizard of Oz, the original. I don't have a brain. I don't have a heart. What was the other one?
Courage.
That was the lion, right?
Yeah, the courage is lying.
Always brings me back to them. You know what? Connect yourself to yourself. What was done is done. You can't go back and change it. You can stroll down memory lane and allow yourself to feel all that pain again. And where's it going to take you? Feel it and then release it. Don't live in it. I wrote that in my chapter in the Badass Story too. I can now recognize when chaos, when pain, when disappointment, when my own stupidity returns to visit me. I have learned to see it, acknowledge it, and say, okay, I see you. You can't stay. Bye-bye now. You know why? Because we live in this routine and this comfort level of just feeling angry or sad or disappointed. And we love to blame people, places, and things.
Make excuses.
And yes. I have come out of that with my 3+ months of self-healing. I am not perfect. I'm going to fuck up every day of my life, as well as I am going to have grace and gratitude every day of my life. They're going to commingle. They're going to commingle because I'm human and because I acknowledge that there are going to be days where I'm going to be like fighting myself. Like, why are you coming back this way? And then there's going to be things that I am going to be like, no, I don't accept that because I don't like it, because I don't need to have that in my life right now. And you walk away. We're not perfect. We're never going to be perfect. We're never going to get it just right. We're always going to be a step behind. There'll be some days we're going to be waiting in between those portals for a whole day before the other door opens. It's all about, do you trust yourself and your higher power, Yahweh, enough to know that if that door is closing and you stepped out, that you can be ready to enter to the one that's about to open for you? Do you have enough in yourself to take that leap of faith? And that's what it is with walking in your truth, celebrating your life, and honoring who the hell you are right now.
Yep.
And we went over. Milagros
We
said,
started
thank
a
you,
little bit
lady.
late. She said, everyone has 3 seconds of stupid. The problem stumps stay there.
Yeah, Milagros. That's why I love Milagros, because you look at Milagros, right? When you met her, and she just looks so angelic. She looks like the angels that she collects. But that woman is no joke.
No,
That woman will love you.
she is a powerhouse of,
She is.
she stays, and it's always the quiet ones. You have to just watch out, because like she'll just sit there and take it in, and then boom, she puts out those words of
Yeah.
wisdom, and that's the beauty
And
of.
I love it because she always surprises me. Very few people surprise me, and then I'll be like, "Did she just say that?" And she walks her truth. She walks
Yes.
her truth.
Yep.
And she lives in her truth. She's comfortable in her skin. She loves her style. And kudos to you, Milagros. And because you know what? It's not about people, places, and things. It's about the spirit that you own. It's not about you condemning people, talking about people, pointing fingers at people. Look in the fucking mirror.
Yeah.
Okay? Look at your life. How well do your children love you? How well do they honor you? How well do they respect you? Because according to how they do that is what you showed them growing up. Children learn from you. So look at your life and look at it that way. And I'm not saying that kids are perfect. What I'm saying is when you give love, they either become victims or they become victors.
Yes.
And that's the key word. Maybe it's because I miss my former lover, but I love that. Victor or victim. And, I think that you can be the best you there is because Yahweh said so. And if you choose to sit in that muddy puddle and complain of how wet you are when the towel's just a little yonder, that's your issue and not mine. I can't help you when you are not fully present in your now.
I like that. Say that again.
I cannot help you if you are not fully present.
No, the sitting in the mud, sitting in the.
Yeah, if you're sitting in the puddle, in the murky puddles, and complaining while the towel's just hanging up over yonder, it's just an arm's reach away, and you're sitting there saying how nobody's helping you, how nobody loved you, how they just
Get
left
your
you
ass
there,
up yourself.
but you're not getting up. You're not getting up to wipe your own ass.
Listen, sometimes people will help you. That's the beauty. People will help, but don't expect it. That's the beauty. Is like, hey, listen, I could get my own ass up out of the water, but also too, don't fight it. That's something that I've been working on. Is that sometimes people really do mean they love you and they want to help you. And don't shut them out either. When you're sitting in that mud puddle and somebody does reach out a hand and you go, no, I got it myself. And you come out of the water.
Yes, because
like, go ahead.
No, because I'm the kind that I know you're doing the work. And let me tell you, the work is hard.
Yep.
It'll be the hardest job you'll ever have.
So worth it. So
is discovering you. You are the most important job, yet the most difficult one to fully understand. You can learn machinery, you can learn computers, you can learn how to hold the paintbrush just right, but and it'll come with its own little difficulties. But learning you have to be fully present. It is your most difficult job. And if I know, and those who know me can attest to this, if I know that you are attempting to do better, and like myself, will fall, guess what I'm going to do when I see you sitting in that puddle? I'm going to put my ass in that puddle with you until you say, okay, let's try this. And we'll get up together. Because that's what a tribe does for one another. So I'm not saying you're on your own, because you're not. But in order for people to know that you are doing the work and you will need assistance, you got to show up for yourself. Because
See
if
what I'm
you're
saying,
here,
my visual of this, of you sitting in the puddle with me, like if you're sitting in the puddle with me, and you said you'll wait till I get up. I know you're gonna nudge though. You're gonna be okay. Listen, are you done yet? Because
hurry up, because my ass is getting numb.
my ass is getting funky. So like, hurry this up. Like, I'm here for you, but come on, man. Like, you got to get up.
Let's count. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Up. 5, 4, 3, 2. Okay, one more time. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Up. Because I do that in the morning. I think Brene Brown started that. Where
No, that was Mel Robbins.
You're like 5 more minutes, 5 more minutes.
No, that's Mel Robbins.
Mel Robbins. She's like,
the 5 second
count backwards from 5 and get up on 1. And I have done that ever since I heard that. Wow, I was still with mom in Connecticut in 2018. And I would say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I would get up, and it works. Yep. And I still do it. I do it for anything.
And you have to count backwards. It's specific.
Yeah, and then on 1, you sprint up.
Yep.
Or you sit up. But do it, because you're worth it. You are so worth it. No matter what you've been through, no matter what tattered clothes you have hanging in the closet, no matter what name brand clothes you've indulged in, it doesn't matter what you wear. I'm a thrift store shopper, and I don't like name brands at all, because I say the clothes don't wear me. I wear the clothes. So it doesn't matter what you own, how you know what? My dad said, we're poor, but as long as your clothes are ironed and clean, it doesn't matter. And I've lived that truth. So what I'm saying is, show up, love who you are, honor the courageous woman that came through all that difficulty in the past, that overcame, like Milagros, those heart attacks, that overcame cancer. Be humbled enough that you are grateful every day for having another day to be fucking awesome in your life and in the lives of those who love you. Because only you can do that. Grace and gratitude equals joy, and only you can obtain joy. People can make you laugh. People can make you feel all fuzzy. People can make you feel amorous. But only you can choose to be happy, and only you can choose to sit in joy, to stand in joy, to speak in joy. So that's where you celebrate your life. You honor yourself, and you live in your truth. And you know that if I show up today as I am, in the body that I own right now, with the little extra muffin tops or the tight abs, it doesn't matter. It's you. It's the only you have. So love it in the process. Love it every day. It does the work. Encourage it. Support its courage. Support its strength. Support the you, because it's like our fingerprints. There's only one of you. People can emulate what you do, but they can never emulate who you are. Only you can. Only you know that truth. So live it well. Let's walk into the new year sassy as fuck, with the knowledge and knowing I got this. I got this, because I got this. And that's it. That's all I have.
Woo! Mic down. Well, listen, we have not planned yet for the new year. We have no idea what we're going to do for season 4 of Viva Cafe con Leche, but be ready, because we're showing up. We're like, as Gladiator Guru says, we are popping up like slut magic, so you can't get rid of us. So stay tuned, and listen, everybody, have an amazing new year. You got 2 days left three, today, tomorrow, and Saturday, to just reflect. And you just reflect and say, what is it? Like, seriously, who needs to stay? Who needs to go? What needs to stay? What needs to go? And go out with a bang. Enjoy, make this New Year's Eve celebration, even if it's a quiet celebration, celebrate it big within yourself. And then say, this new year, this is it. Like, I'm on to the next chapter. I'm on to this next piece of my life, because I want to be bold this year. And that's it. And you got us backing you up. So at least you got these tribe members right here. So
be magically orgasmic.
mm-hmm.
You've heard about it all year. Two seasons already. Being magically orgasmic is just owning who you are, living in your true essence. It's that wanting to be without outside influences. That's how you learn to heal, just painfully raw. You know what? I'm working New Year's Eve, so I'll be spending midnight. Yeah, Happy New Year at work. So, but you know what? I'll probably be doing something. So it doesn't matter where you're at. We're still gonna ring in the New Year. You could
It's coming. It's coming no matter what.
Regardless if you're ready or not.
Wherever you are, it's coming.
Whether you're dressed up in glitter, whether you're eating 12 grapes right before the clock strikes New Year's, whether you're at work, whether you're stuck in traffic or at an airline, it doesn't matter. It's coming. So wherever you are, embrace the new year entering, and then embrace yourself in preparation for what's to come. The good, the bad, the ugly, because you believe in the person you created or are creating. That's your truth. That's the celebration of you. That's the honoring of every single strength and courage and knowledge and not knowing that you possess. Let's walk into it. Let's march into it. Let's salsa into it with love.
Sweet. All right. With that, we are going to end the broadcast for today for the very last episode, our 100 and what is it? We are on season 3 episode. Oh, I put the wrong thing. It's 103. I put the wrong one for here. Season 3. I have to fix that. Episode 103. So thank you, everyone, for being here. Please remember to share. This was a really great conversation. So repost, if you could please repost on your Facebook page. And if you have the YouTube link, just send it out to people and say, just watch this last thing. And we just want to say thank you so much to everybody who's been here. Lydia says, thank you for your wonderful words as a listener. Something my mom would say, evita una desgracia. Desgracia, right? Is that how you say it? Is it? So
yeah, una desgracia.
Most of the time, let him or her sit by with their own demon. A prayer would help it stay away. Yes, that sounds beautiful. Fabulous. Love you guys and Happy New Year. Milagro says Happy New Year. And all of you, thank you so much for being, once again, a part of Viva Cafe con Leche. We wouldn't be here without y'all. So thank you. So that's it, Gladiator Girl. Is that the last thing besides our sign out? All right. Happy New Year, everyone. And from the Badass Buddha, remember, be you, be real, and be extraordinary.
Yes, Prospero Año Nuevo. Be at the top of your list. And remember, breathe in the beauty and breathe out the bullshit. Let's start fresh. Let's turn a new page. Happy New Year.